The topic for this presentation is thread synchronization. By the end of it, we will know what synchronization is and why and how to synchronize code in Java. In a multi-threaded application, when we have more than one thread accessing the same piece of code or accessing the same methods within an object, there is a definite chance of these multiple threads corrupting the state of the object. A good example for this is when we implement the singleton design pattern for our applications. A singleton design pattern allows our applications to create one and only one instance of a particular class, no matter how many times that particular class is used within the application. For example, I have a logger class which I want to be a singleton, and here is the pseudocode for it. A singleton design pattern is a topic of its own, but for the scope of this, here is one simple implementation of the singleton design pattern, and it's just the pseudocode. What we do in this method is we do a check, we make a check to see if the logger instance already exists. Only if it doesn't, we create a new instance of it and then we return it back. So all our application classes can call this static method and they can retrieve, they will get back only one instance of the logger class because we do a check every time this method is invoked, and we create this object only if it's not created already. Now if we have multiple threads accessing this method to create to get an instance of this object logger class, while one thread might do the if check and get into the if block, before it creates the logger instance, another thread might come here and do the if check, and it might get into the if block as well. So these two threads end up creating two different instances. To prevent this, we have to synchronize our code, and in Java we use the synchronizer keyword to do that. So we mark our method using the synchronizer keyword, and once we do that, it will prevent multiple threads to access this particular method at the same time. So how we do it is, how JVM does it is by using the lock on an object. So every object in Java has a lock, and as soon as a particular thread accesses the synchronized methods on that object, that thread will acquire the lock. And every object has one and only one lock, so the other threads have to wait until the particular thread gives up the lock on that object. The other threads can still access the non-synchronized methods on that object, but not the synchronized methods. So by synchronizing this method, we prevent creating multiple instances of this logger class. We can also have synchronized blocks. We need not synchronize the entire method. We can also have synchronized blocks, and an additional advantage with synchronized blocks is you can specify the object on which you want to acquire the lock. So that will allow you to acquire locks on multiple objects within a piece of code. We can also have static synchronized methods, and when threads invoke the static synchronized methods, they acquire the lock on the java.lang.class instance. Every class in Java that's loaded into memory is represented as an instance of the java.lang.class, and when a thread accesses the static methods which are synchronized, it acquires a lock on that particular instance which represents that class in memory. To quickly recap the headlines, synchronization prevents multiple threads accessing the same piece of code or same methods on an object to corrupt the state of the object, and it does it by giving access to only one thread at a point in time. These threads acquire the lock on an object, and all the other threads have to wait before they can call into that particular piece of code. We can also have synchronized blocks, not just the methods, and also we can have static synchronized methods, and when a thread accesses a static synchronized method, it acquires a lock on the java.lang.class instance for that particular class. In the next multi-threading session, you will learn how to communicate, how two or more threads can communicate with each other using the methods they inherit from the java.lang.class. Sorry, java.lang.object. Until then, keep sharing and learning. Thanks for watching.